morning. Good morning, dear participants, and welcome back to the Guyana Extractive Sector Transparency Week. My name is Kitty Sabosley, and I will be your host for today's session. And as you know, today is the last day of our Transparency Week. So sadly, all the good things have to come to an end, but today we have some very exciting topics and great presentations and very esteemed speakers for you. So make sure that you tune in to all of the activities today. And with that, I would like to get started on our first presentation today and welcome Miss Eandrine Thompson. It is such a pleasure and a great honor to have her here joining us and tell us a little bit more about the Guyana Gold Board. The Guyana Gold Board is a supervisory authority of the gold trading sector, and as such, it is mandated to supervise the gold trading activities and ensure strict compliance with AML and CFT requirements. With that, I'd like to give this over to Ms. Thompson to enlighten us on some of the intricacies.
Good morning, everyone. And indeed, it's a pleasure being here. Kitty has been doing such a fine job, and the team. I think it's opportune that Guyana really pay attention to transparency and what it can do for us as a developing economy with oil and such. Well, we had gold from ever since. And so today, with the Guyana Gold Board, I am pleased to share with you what goes on here. As was said in the introduction, that Guyana Gold Board is a supervisory authority, and as such, we supervise the gold trading sector. And sometimes persons may say, what about the gold trading sector that you folks have so much work to do? But I can say to us, it is such an uphill task because of the very fact that you have to ensure that what you have to do, it is in full compliance with the law. So our topic today, the Guyana Gold Board, transparency and compliance in the Guyana gold sector. Transparency and compliance. When we talk transparency, it must be clear. Everything we do must be above board, and also the law or the legislations in place must be adhered to. Guyana Gold Board was set up in 1982, the 15th of May 1982, by an act of parliament, the Guyana Gold Board Act, chapter 601. It prescribes that Guyana Gold Board carries on the business of trading in gold. And that's exactly one of it's paramount for the Guyana Gold Board, gold trading. Gold trading, Guyana Gold Board buys gold, and we only buy gold that's produced in Guyana. And there we can put we can hold that there, because only buy gold that produced in Guyana. Therefore, that is one uphill task that we have. And then secures at all times adequate supply of gold and ensures its equitable distribution in Guyana at fair prices. The Guyana Gold Board sells gold in Guyana, that's our jewelers, and we say licensed jewelers and goldsmiths. Outside of Guyana, we also send the metal out of the country to be refined And then we have a broker that sells that gold for us at whatever spot price Guyana Gold Board requires. And I dare say Guyana Gold Board is among the highest foreign currency earner for this nation. Guyana Gold Board engages in other related commercial or industrial activities. At this time, we have what we call the medallion that we have for the 50th anniversary here. It's one another aspect of the that we are involved. We have the medallions on sale. Um, Additional mandate, and in 1998 we have decided that Guyana Gold Board doesn't have the far reach. We have three offices. We have offices in we have an office in Bartica. We have an office in the Port Kaitumo Region 1 area. We also have an office in Georgetown, which is our head office. So we have licensed agents or persons that act as agents on behalf of the Guyana Gold Board, whether it be persons, individuals, businesses, companies. They can be licensed. Of course, we have the application and what is required, the full requirements for anyone who is desirous of being a licensed dealer. These agents, they're authorized to possess, sell, and export gold. And we have also our mandate as under the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Act 2009, and that has mandated that GGB, or the Guyana Gold Board, here be a supervisory authority. Okay, that's just an introduction to the Guyana Gold Board, and I'm seeing we have one question there, and it would be good that I can take that question if so desire.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Thompson. And yes, we do have our first question in the Q&A. And just a kind reminder for all of our participants that you are welcome, in fact, encouraged to add your questions to the Q&A, which is located on the bottom of your screen. And here is the first question. Ms. Thompson, there are always comments that the gold produced is not always declared by the companies honestly. Do you think all the gold produced in Guyana is being declared by producers? What mechanisms do you have to ensure strict compliance in declaration?
Okay, thank you for that question. Uh, I know it will be answered a little later in the as we go in the presentation, but I can take it now, and I think it may spark other questions as we come to that section of the presentation. Guyana Gold Board cannot sit here and say all is declared or all is not declared. What happens? We have clients or miners who walk in and sell to the Guyana Gold Board at any of the three offices. And then we have dealers, the licensed dealers that I mentioned. They also are required to purchase on behalf of the Guyana Gold Board. Mind you that they are their own businessmen. And we call traders, or we can say the barter system that they have in the interior, where persons are licensed by the Geology and Mines Commission to barter or to trade in gold in the interior there, where the miners will have gold and no cash, and they can give the gold for commodities that they would like to have. Fuel, groceries, and the list goes on. So to say that the Guyana Gold Board does not have all the gold declared in Guyana. There are little pockets of noise around the place that gold smuggled out of the country. And so what we try to do is to reconcile with the Geology and Mines Commission, where we say, tell us what is the capacity to produce metal. And then we can balance that with what has been declared either by the traders, by our dealers, and to those who walk in and sell. And this has been an uphill task from way back, but I think we are making grounds in that respect. The dealers, our licensed dealers, they're expected to say to the Guyana Gold Board on a bi-weekly basis, these are the persons we purchased from, where they live, and their location, and the quantities, among some other particulars that we request. For the report, the miners, we also will ask them, where did you get your metal? Where did you get the gold from? And the traders also. What we request or what we require from our persons walking in to sell to the Guyana Gold Board is also what the dealers are expected to, and to a lesser extent, the traders also. So to answer that question is to say, Guyana Gold Board cannot safely say that we are having declarations to its maximum. We can't say that. We have to depend on the GGMC to assist us in that. And another weakness we will come up with also is where our act doesn't permit us, or we don't have that investigative arm. We do not have that leeway, or it's not within our remit to be in the interior to check on miners and such like. While we may have outreaches, we do not have that. It's not within our remit to have mines officers and such. I trust that I answered that question. So I'll move on. GGB serves a twofold purpose in the sector. GGB is a reporting entity, and the GGB is a supervisory authority. And as a reporting entity, the Guyana Gold Board, under Section 15 of the AML Act, we have the implementation of KYC, and we also carry out customer due diligence. We have to do that as a reporting entity. Section 16, we have implementation of record keeping. There must be record keeping, and the record keeping, we have the retention policy where the records are expected to be kept for 7 years. On the Section 18, we have our transaction monitoring, and that's where we report to the FIU any suspicious transaction. We prepare threshold reports and terrorist property reports. Section 19, we have the appointment of a compliance officer and AML compliance program. And we were lacking miserably in our compliance program. And after 2017, that had to be ramped up. We are pleased to report that we have adequately compliance unit who are able to effectively carry out the functions of this organization. Then GGB as a supervisory authority. We ensure that the licensed dealers are in compliance, and that's also with section 15, 16, 17, 18 of the AML Act. We have section 23, where we can impose sanctions against dealers for failure to comply with the relevant sections of the Act. And the AML Act 2014, we conduct AML examination of dealers to ensure compliance with the AML CFT Act. And at this time here where we're having COVID, where COVID is in the air, last year, 2020, we found it difficult to go to the dealers to carry out these examinations. However, that was countered with desk-based reviews, where we asked the dealers to bring in their KYC profiles, and we went through that. And also we were able to uncover where they fall short. The Guyana Gold Board Dealers Regulation 4 of 1997, where we receive bi-weekly declarations. That's the reports from the dealerships. And with that, we also ask them to bring in receipts to accompany the declarations, the bi-weekly declarations, with receipts. The receipts that they would have retained when they sell to when the miners or traders sell to them. And that has been helping with in our reconciliation process. All of that ensures that the dealers are in full compliance. The regulations 4 of 1997 ensuring GGB ensures that the relevant section of the AML CFT Act 2009 is enforced. Guyana's gold trade sector. The gold trade market, or the gold trade sector, is enticing, and most of us would know that once persons hear of gold, their eyes light up. And gold has been enticing to investors, to entrepreneurs, to miners, traders, jewelers, and we stick it there, criminals too. And the range, because of one, the range of services the sector offers. In the gold trading sector, and in Guyana more specifically, we have persons who can just jump on a truck, go in the interior, and say that they come to do gold mining. They have no idea of what gold mining is, even if they have to just go and start washing down on somebody's tailings and all these things. But it also offers gold trading, bartering to pawnbrokers. We have sale of jewelry, that's to the jewelers, among others. So it is enticing. And also it's enticing because of the size of the market, or we would want to say the range. You, in Guyana, we have gold at various ports, various interior location. Some of us, even we live here in Guyana, we would have never gone to these places. So persons just go, and we have places like Madio and all of that, where persons can just go and start a business without even thinking that they have to be regulated, you know. So we are working towards that with, in collaboration with our sister agency, the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission. Also, the secrecy of isolated mining pits and impassable terrain. We know that there are times persons just start mining and they're coming out with gold, and they do not even have any, let's put it this way in Guyana term, Guyanese parlance, they don't have paper to work. So they come and they have this goal, and when they realize that there is they have to give a report or say where they get the metal from, then you would find that they tend to back out. We want them, we want the gold, but here again, we have to be responsible in purchasing metal. And the anonymity of the DNA of gold and the inclusion of mineral properties, it's one of the things. Persons come with gold, and it's way back up again because we have to purchase all gold produced in Ghana. How do we know it's produced in Ghana? There is no DNA to the gold. And that's why we heavily rely on our sister agency to say that this person has a permit to mine or whatever other requirement they would have. And we, as a matter of fact, quite recently trying to detect, you know, if we can say where gold is coming from. To date, nobody, nowhere, not even our the refinery that we deal with, they have not given us that green light to say yes, they can detect. And the sector's reliance, and I would want to qualify that by saying heavy reliance on cash as a means of exchange. And we would know that the miners, they don't want to hear anything about check and bank account, whilst we are working on that right now, in the reduction of the use of cash. But we know that the gold sector, it's heavy cash intensive. So it's one of the things that we know why the gold trade sector, we have to be cognizant of these things. And we also have to ensure that we, Guyana Gold Board, up its game when it comes to supervising the gold trade sector. Perhaps I can take another question here if there are any.
Yeah, let's pause for a brief moment. And we do have one more question coming in, and I'd like to encourage and entice all of our participants to add your questions. It is just really great to have Ms. Thompson here as a resource with all her experience, knowledge, and expertise, so take advantage. Here is the first question. Are companies in compliance with environmental laws in terms of fixing the holes and leveling the land after mining is done? And the follow-up is mercury use in mining still a problem?
Okay. The first aspect of that question, with Guyana Gold Board being to the end of the supply chain, is not, we do not have that, it's not within our remit I should say, to be a part of what is happening in the interior. So to say that the holes are being filled up, the tailings are being properly monitored, Guyana Gold Board cannot answer that effectively. That's our sister agency is responsible for that. And the other aspect of it, because I am onto a couple of projects, Guyana Gold Board Guyana Gold Board doesn't use mercury, but mercury is used in the interior to amalgamate gold. And in the process right now, because Guyana has signed on to the Minamata Convention, Guyana Gold Board is working with the CI and other agencies in working towards the elimination of mercury, the use of mercury. That again is a uphill task because our miners are saying, listen, if you cannot find an economical alternative, we prefer to use the mercury. So CI Guyana, they're carrying out a pilot project right now, and they are working towards that. All right, Guyana Gold, the gold, if we should look at gold contribution to Guyana. Go over the years, gold has been contributing, and this was taken from the Bank of Guyana. This is the Bank of Guyana's report. And I would also want to say, before I go to this year, the 2017 report from the GYEITI, they would have had a slightly different figure. Nevertheless, this is taken from the Guyana Gold Board, the Bank of Guyana's report. And they would have shown the contribution of gold to the GDP over the years. And gold has played its important role in this economy. I think they also, when it comes to the contribution to the foreign currency earned, it's among the top. It's like 61 or 62%. They're about earning foreign currency earned. Just to show how important it is for us to be closely monitoring the gold sector. Let's look the small and medium scale. For the small and medium scale declarants. And when we term small and medium scale, we are looking at those miners in the interior, because the investors that we would term the large scale, there's right now with CGN and the Troy Resources, those are the two large investors we have here, large scale miners, let's put it that way, for the purpose of this presentation. In 2015, the small and medium scale miners declared 451,000 ounces of gold. And this nearly doubled in 2016, 712,000 or 713,000 ounces of gold they've declared. And then we may have wondered what happened in 2017 and 2018. and then it came back up in 2019 and 2020. It came back up. We're looking forward for a better. However, in 2017, we have had one of our major, uh, or we would want to say one of our largest declarant falling off because of an investigation. And we were wondering now where this goal is going, or where is it coming from 712,000 to 419. And of course, we really could not have given a proper answer for that. In 2017, we've had declarations from our investors also. At the time, was the AGM and Troy, and the AGM was acquired by Zygen. It's a Chinese company, and they're operating now. They did not do much in 2020 with COVID and all of that, and they had their own issues. So Guyana Gold Board has its work cut out in monitoring what goes on in the gold sector. How do we identify money laundering in the sector? The gold trade sector provides cash for gold businesses with a continued supply of an untraceable commodity, gold. Money laundering in the gold trade sector can be identified where there is one, high volume, low value gold transactions. Okay. And there again, our assist agency will be able to say to us that, listen, the area where this person is, they have the capacity to produce. And so they have the high volume, low value gold transaction and the commingling of bank accounts. You look at these things, we will ask our dealers, our licensed dealers, listen, you need to just take out an account for your business, for the dealership. We don't need to see anything else. We just need to see your bank account for that. What is your financial capability? But whenever there's commingling bank accounts, records, and stock books, you can't really detect what goes where. We know that that's an eye opener for us. It's a red flag. Little startup capital and minimal equipment, but big gold returns. Where is it coming from? Where is the money coming from to buy that? You don't have that capital to do the extensive buying or mining, but yet you have big gold returns. International payments of gold or scrap metal facades. And we find that especially when it comes to the dealership, because they have the ability to export. So these are things that we look for. No AML CFT policy and requirements is that, it has been thrown through the door. Persons don't so care to have to have that as a part of their business. It's too, as a matter of fact, some report it's too onerous. We don't want that. And the willingness of companies, banks, credit agencies, etc., to process customers. Okay, so the thing about it is that we have who subsidize the business. We have persons who are or businesses who facilitate this, and we have to be wary of things like these.
Miss Thompson,
GGB.
if this is a good time, there is one more question for you.
Okay, sure.
All right, so here we go. There are a lot of challenges in the ASM sector with unregulated and regulated activities that often lead to challenges and conflicts, sometimes around licenses and concessions. How does the Gold Board manage some of these issues? Do you have a mechanism in place to mitigate these issues?
Could you read that again for me, please?
Yes, there are a lot of challenges in the ASM sector with unregulated and regulated activities that often lead to challenges and conflicts, and sometimes around licenses and concessions. Now, the question is, how does the Gold Board manage some of these issues? Do you have a mechanism in place to mitigate these issues?
Okay. With licenses, GGB, again, GGB only licensed dealers or agents that can possess, sell, or export. But I think the question really is pointing to minors and the GGMC licensed minors. But what do we do? Because there is we have that working relationship with GGMC. So far, we have a shared platform where they will be saying to us who is licensed, who is not licensed. And we're able to ably track the source of gold. That's one. Two, whenever there is, for example, a client may come and say, they mind, they have this, they have, they're running to the GGMC to get their license. It is not renewed. We have also that relationship that we can call to say, listen, we have minor X here. Could you tell us that minor X is licensed to, whether minor X is licensed to mine? And we may have a response like the license is not ready yet, so they may just have a receipt. And that works for us because we cannot put undue stress on the miners. We try as much as possible to be very accommodating while we still enforce the law. But basically, when it comes to licensing of the miners, traders, it has to do with GGMC.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. Thank you for that explanation.
If that person wishes to have any other clarification, I'm willing to.
Thank you. We really, really appreciate that.
Okay.
Now, there is one more question before we move on with the rest of your presentation. Here we go. Does the Gold Board track numbers of people employed in the sector and how many women are working in the gold sector?
All right. We do not classify it as when it comes to gender. It is for this week. For this week, we were I've learned from this here from the conference. I've learned that it plays a great role. So it's one of the things that GGMC, Guyana Gold Board, perhaps can look at, but we do not classify according to gender. The Guyana Women Miners Organization, they can give us that if I so require. Yeah, I think they will be able to give us that number. But to have on record miners, yes, Guyana Gold Board has a database of miners. Those who sell to the Guyana Gold Board, those who sell to our agents, because our agents will have to bring in their declarations to us. So we have a database of that.
That's really good to know. Thank you so much, Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
And this is the questions we had so far, so we can move on to the last part of your presentation.
Okay. So GGB's anti-money laundering policy, I would have explained before, but we can also, in our policy, yes, we spoke about examinations, compliance examinations, and the internal training. We also look at training of staff, and we're expecting our dealers also, our agents, to train staff, AML, CFT training of our licensed dealers. We also have the vetting of our declarations. We prefer to know that once it's in, we can interrogate what the data that is brought in to us. Certification of agents by the Guyana National Bureau of Standards. What happened there? We asked the Bureau of Standards we have an MOU with the Bureau of Standards where we say, listen, our agents, the weights or the balance that they use must be able to withstand scrutiny. They must be checked and certified by the Bureau of Standards. And we also work with in corroboration of customer information with records of the GGMC, GRA, GGDMA, GMO, and that's GWMO, that's the Guyana Women Miners Organization. And that's what I was saying in my explanation there. If I so require that info, I can go to them. And any other stakeholder who wish to collaborate with the GGB. And that should be suspicious transaction reporting, right? We need to report transactions, any suspicious transaction to the FIU. So, and as I wind down in this presentation here, Guyana Gold Board will always market itself, will always present itself to our customers. The GGB ensures that each customer is compliant with Guyana's anti-money laundering requirements, and each customer is advised on the steps to be taken to achieve such gold standard. And we say gold standard, we put it in lifted commas there because it's, we say the high, meaning the high standard. Additionally, there are numerous benefits of selling to the Guyana Gold Board. And these benefits include duty-free concessions, following accumulated sales of 500 ounces. Once you come to the Guyana Gold Board, you have just weights for gold, and there is security and confidentiality. Once you're selling to the Guyana Gold Board, we do not put out the person's information out there, and there is reliable testing of gold, testing for gold purity. And every day we're trying to improve this. Payment adjustments following a saying after we've purchased your metal, we also do testing thereafter. And once you sell, you also become AML CFT compliant, and we ensure that there is accurate record of taxes and royalties. Guyana Gold Board deducts the taxes and royalties on behalf of the GRA and the GGMC respectively. We have competitive prices and exchange rates, and that's against what's going on the road. Guyana Gold Board uses the LBMA, the London fix, that we have 2 fixes per day, and you rest assured you're involved. There is a guarantee involvement in the country's development. Easy access to foreign exchange. You can have a foreign exchange account set up. Declaration letters, meaning you can have these letters of your gold declaration, or we can say a statement. And their incentive for firearm license, incentive for bank loans, and recommendations to foreign business. And that's if you want to become a dealer. So thank you so much for your time. I trust that you would have learned something from this presentation.
Thank you so much, Ms. Thompson. It was a really great presentation with much of the needed details about the gold sector and that take on the extractive sectors. So thank you so much for your presentation, and the chat and the Q&A is open for questions, and we do have one that's coming in for you, Ms. Thompson. Who are the major buyers of the Guyana gold once it goes through GGB, national or international?
The major buyers, okay. Guyana Gold Board, after the gold is sent to the Royal Canadian Mint to be refined, we have a broker. Our broker is TechMet. We had TechMet trading in the US. We had two brokers. It used to be the Scotia Makata, but we have since severed ties with Scotia Makata, and we are with TechMet Trading. And TechMet Trading, they sell for us. How it happens? Guyana Gold Board will send off a message to say Guyana Gold Board would like to sell X quantities that's deposited into your account at X price, and they will execute that sale for us. So to say who are our buyers, Guyana Gold Board doesn't know who are our buyers. The broker executes that transaction.
Thank you so much for that explanation. It's really good to know. Now here comes the next question. How much money does gold contribute to the economy every year?
And to give an accurate figure will be from the Bank of Guyana. However, and the percentage, the gold contributes like 62%. Between 61 to 62% of the foreign currency earned over the last 3 years. And I can say, yes, we have 2018, 2019, 2020. So gold contributed that between 61 to 62%. In addition to that, we have and that's what Guyana Gold Board can account for. When Guyana Gold Board sells gold, the proceeds from the sale of gold goes directly to the Federal Reserve Bank account of the Bank of Guyana's account held at the Federal Reserve Bank, and that comes back to Guyana. But for our licensed dealers, the tracking of that Gold Board doesn't do.
Thank you so much, Ms. Thompson. It's really good to get the statistics and the numbers sometimes. So we really appreciate the transparency with that. And here comes the next question. Is there an estimate of how much gold is lost through gold smuggling per year?
I
Good
laugh.
questions, right? Great audience.
I laugh, it is interesting to know, but Guyana Gold Board doesn't have an estimate of what is lost per year. Um, Perhaps that will be a project we can work on so that we can really ascertain indeed whether there is smuggling of gold in the country or whether there is smuggling out of the country. Because as I said earlier, we do not have the wherewithal, or that is not within our remit.
Thank you so much. Now let's see if we have any more questions from the audience. The Q&A box is open, so if you have any other questions for Ms. Thompson, we are open. Well, it seems that we budgeted our time really wisely. And I just want to say thank you so much for Miss Yandrin Thompson from the Gold Board to give us all that great information, all the details and the explanation. It's been very enlightening and very much in the spirit of the Transparency Week. And with that, I would like to share with the audience what is in store for the rest of the day. So we are on the last day of the conference and it is day 5. And right after this session at 10:30, we will be back with extractivism and intergenerational justice in Guyana. And our 2 conversation partners are Benita Davis and Dr. Troy Thomas. So make sure that you stay online and tune into that presentation, which will lead us to the closing ceremony, which starts at 11:30. And that is going to mark the end of the Transparency Week. Now, one more thing I like to highlight for you, this is the conference's website. We do have some information that you can access even beyond the conference. There is some great background information if you like to further educate yourself on the extractive sector. It is all for public consumption. Take a look and see if it was of benefit to you. Also, we have a portal. It is the Transparency Portal, which has some very helpful links, including agencies, including their official websites, also some government website information about laws and regulations. So it's definitely something that for those of you who are interested in looking for more information that is publicly available, that definitely check out the Transparency Portal. And last but not least, we have a transparency survey. And this survey is aimed to measure and capture your perceptions about transparency in Guyana. So you can take the survey and also you can view the results because the results are publicly available. This is completely fully transparent. So let me just show to you the first few questions and how the answers are coming in. You can see the graphs, and as more and more people complete it, we do have more and more answers. And after a few demographic questions, we dive into the core of the survey. And it has questions such as, do you feel that the oil and gas industry has a positive impact on Guyana? And you can see how, the distribution is going and how people feel about certain things. And please go ahead and take a look and also complete the survey so we can have your perspective added to it. It is a wonderful interactive tool that we want to offer for all the participants to create some further dialogue. And with that, I would like to bring today's presentation to a close. And again, thank you so much for Ms. Thompson for this enlightening presentation and for all of the participants who tune into this presentation. And we are going to continue after a short break at 10:30 with Ms. Benita Davis and Dr. Troy Thomas. Thank you so much for joining.